Right. So here we are with Badass Business Babes, where I interview amazing women on a mission to do something really cool in this world and cause a massive ripple effect. So this is why I do this. And what I've noticed is brilliant women doing really cool, creative, and like helpful things in the world are sometimes notoriously bad at making money. Okay, so I wanted to get a video going where I could showcase these amazing human beings and what they're doing and really put in an offer for the eyes that are seeking the information that you have right now, and so that we can get crack-a-lackin' and get what you do out there into the world. So with me today, I have the beautiful Rochelle Reynolds. And I was trying to think of where we met first.
I'm trying to think of where we met first too. It wasn't at Sarah's New Year's Eve party because we already knew each other before then.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! You know what? It was the very first Power Up Mentor meeting. That's where we met. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. And so Rochelle and I did, there's a local program called Power Up Your Business, and both Rochelle and I were in it. And what I love about Rochelle is both of us have big dreams. Like we are like, let's get at pitter patter, let's motherfucking get at her. Like we both have big dreams. So I think that's how we connected and really resonated with each other is, yeah, we're doing our local thing, but we want to make a massive impact and pull people from all over in. So yeah, so that's where we met. And yeah, so I just keep on thinking about you, and you're in the Badass Business Babes, and you're constantly posting like really cool stuff. And so I really wanted to highlight you because, so Rochelle, I should say, has a theater production company. And that's completely badass. That's like a leader, like forging her own path sort of thing. And it's not easy, right? Because you're forging it new.
Definitely.
So let's talk about that. And I love origin stories. So just introduce yourself, and how did you get to running a production company in Collingwood?
Yes, that's the first question most people have for me. I'm an actor, writer, director. I have followed that passion literally all over the world. I was born in Collingwood, so that's my connection to this place. But I didn't really grow up here. I was up here in the summers and on weekends and all that sort of stuff. So Collingwood was always in my life, but it was never my home base, if that makes sense. So I went to school in Toronto. I went to an arts high school there. At the same time, I was enrolled in this, sort of really enriched repertory company. So that's where I kind of cut my teeth and learned that, hey, acting isn't just about having fun and pretending to be somebody else. Like there's a real technique to this, and there's a lot of discipline involved with that, which I absolutely fell in love with because that made it serious for me. That transformed it from something that I enjoyed doing to something that I could really pursue and craft and perfect. Not that you can ever really perfect your performance, but you can get as close as possible with training and discipline. So from there, I did my undergrad in Newfoundland. I went to Memorial and got my BFA in acting. But things that were always floating in the background for me were my passions for directing and writing as well. So my plan was always to pursue my master's in directing after my BFA in acting, because that's where I felt that I could really find my own voice and figure out, okay, now I have the skills to take on a character, create a world for somebody else, but how do I make this for myself? And so after Newfoundland, I went immediately to the UK and I did my master's at York over there. And I specialized in directing, but also playwriting. So that was really, really cool. Very, very hard. But I'm very grateful for that experience. Throughout all of this training and schooling and everything, I was always working either volunteering, with community theater groups or working professionally, with various troupes and doing commercials and all that sort of stuff. So people are always kind of surprised when I say that I've been in the industry for as long as I have been, but it's because I really have been building my career since I was a child. Like this is the only thing I wanted to do, and I've been dead serious about it since I was about, I don't know, 10 years old. So that's really neat. So anyway, after all of that, I was tired of traveling and just wanted to, cool my jets for a little bit. So I came to Collingwood for what was supposed to be 6 months at most, and I lived with my dad because he was still in Collingwood.
Yeah.
And then stuff just kind of kept happening that kept keeping me here, I guess. I ended up in this crazy management job at a resort here, which was totally unexpected and really opened up a whole new world for me, which was the world of, trailblazing and entrepreneurship in a way, because even though I was, part of this larger organization, I had the ability for the first time ever to kind of craft something on my own and lead a team of people towards a common goal, which was something that ignited something very special within me. And so then, I parted ways with the resort because that was never going to be my life, and it was never going to be something that was going to be a long-term thing for me. And I decided that, all right, it's time for me to do what I want to do. It's time for me to put my money where my mouth is and start creating the theater that I want to create and that I know I can. So that's how Quarter Century Theater came to be. And we're now in our third year of operation, which is amazing. But sometimes I want Quarter Century Theater to exist beyond the vacuum that is Collingwood and everything. Like, my theater is not designed to stay in a small place consumed by the same 200 people, right? Like, I want it to exist far beyond that and become a real a real lasting footprint on the Canadian theater scene. So that's the ultimate goal.
Let's dive into that, because this is your possibility, and that's why I'm bringing you on this. I want to share, like, what's your vision? Because your vision is inspiring, and I can see this for the town of Collingwood. So what do you see with your theater production company?
Well, I've always drawn my greatest inspiration from things like the Stratford Festival in Stratford, Ontario, and also, the National Theatre in London, and of course, the major theater ecosystem on Broadway and everything. These are places that all started the exact same way that I did. I mean, the Stratford Theatre Festival started as a tent, and that was it. And they just happened to get the right crew of people together at the right time and make something out of nothing. That's what I see for Collingwood here. I mean, we have an amazing area that really is a 4-season destination now. I mean, there's something to do every single day of the year here, which is incredible. We have, so many amazing young entrepreneurs popping up who are doing really cool stuff in the town for, tech and food and beverage and hospitality and tourism. But one thing that hasn't seen as much growth is the performance arts sector. So specifically, the people like me, the theater artists, the dance artists, the people who create experiences that are designed to affect audiences in a very tangible and very visceral way, because there's nothing quite like going to a theater and being right there with these people who are pretending to be other people, but you believe that they're those other people because they're just that good and all that sort of stuff.
And this is a question I love to ask people. Okay, so people are watching this right now. I love asking the question, I help X with Y to get Z. Because here's the thing, I'm not a typical theater goer. So who is your target market? I've been to one of your productions and I had that visceral experience. So who is it that is your target market that's coming, who can experience this? What are they going to get, and why? So what's the result? Because I know that you know, like your production has still, from the summer, has still stuck with me, you know, and it I don't know what it is. And like you watch a movie, but then the movie's done. You know, you forget the movie, but there's something about the theater experience, and I'm not a theater goer. So who it is, like, so I help X with Y to get Z. What's your answer to that?
Okay, well, I have two major services that I provide. One are my productions, so the things that we've been talking about, but then the other is my education profile. I do a lot of teaching in this area, independently, partnering with other organizations, all that sort of stuff. So I'll do the two of those. So for my productions, what I say is that I create unexpected and inspiring theater for entertainment lovers who think they've seen it all before.
Right.
My whole thing is about shaking things up, pushing that envelope, uh, evolving the medium, changing what people expect from going to see a play. And I'm not the only person in the world who's doing that, but I'm kind of the only person in Collingwood who's doing that. So that's what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
And then for my teaching profile, I help new and developing theater artists hone their skills and embrace ideas to move them closer to their artistic goals. So for people who, loved acting in school, but then they've let it go and never found opportunities, I'm someone who can help you rekindle that. I'm someone who can teach you how to feel confident holding a script in your hand and really embracing that and turning your performance into something memorable. I can also help students who are serious about this and who really want to pursue a career in theater like I have. I can help them get to that next level and give them the skills that they need to ace their next audition or at least feel more confident going into it and feel like they've got a strong handle on the material that they need to prepare. So those are the two groups of people that I service. And then in between that, I'm really here as a resource for the community to give you something more than just another night of Netflix and chill, if that if that makes any sense. So yeah.
Yeah. And I love, like, I always think of, like, great businesses are solving a need. Okay. So solving a problem. And what you are doing, like you're, one of the biggest pain points in our civilization right now is isolation and feeling alone. And what the theater does is it connects us together again. So we're all playing video games or we're watching Netflix and we're just kind of getting into that haze, that daze and haze. So yeah, that's what you're doing. Like, and what do you think? Like, because I think if you weren't stepping up to the plate and doing stuff, I think theater would die. Like, I think, like, individuals like you, would you agree with that? Like, if you, this is why I think you're such a hero in this story, because you are like, it's motherfucking hard and I'm motherfucking doing it anyway, because it's a must, right?
Definitely.
And what would you say about all that stuff?
Well, I mean, I always rely on one of the most popular quotes in the industry, which is that theater is the only art form that has been dying for the last 10,000 years. And that's absolutely true. Theater has not been important to people really since the ancient Greeks and ancient Romans, because that was the only time in history where theater was mandatory. You had to go and see the show, whether you liked it or not, whether you wanted to or not. If you didn't go, then you could have been exiled or whatever the punishment would have been. So ever since then, people were given the choice and those sanctions were eliminated, there was a huge sort of rebellion against theater, and people sort of decided, well, I'd rather not have to go and stand there or sit there or whatever I had to do and watch these people do this thing. I have better things to do. And I think that's constantly what theater is up against, is people thinking that there are better ways to spend their time or there's something more important that needs to be done. But the thing about it is, I mean, you sort of need to do the rocking chair test on that sort of thing. Like, 20 years from now, what do you think, 20 years, 40 years, 60 years from now, what do you think you're going to remember about your life? Is it going to be the night that you chose to stay home and finish that, Netflix series or whatever it happens to be, or are you going to remember that night that you chose to, I don't know, spend 3 hours longer at the gym than you needed to just because you felt like you had to? Or are you going to remember that night that you took a chance and went to see that crazy, little production that you didn't trust and that you weren't sure about, and it changed your whole perspective on an issue? An image from it stuck in your mind for the next 6 months, and you kept thinking about it, and it kept influencing what you did day to day in that time frame or whatever. That's why I think it's important. And there are other trailblazers out there. There are there's a whole generation of actors, writers, directors just like me who are on the same mission in their own different way. And I think the cool thing about it is we will succeed. As long as we don't go away, then the art form won't go away. Yeah. But every single day, another one of us decides to go that corporate route, or decides it's just too hard, or decides, they just can't take the pressure anymore of the constant rejection if you're living that actor's life or whatever it happens to be. And everyone's on their own journey, and none of that is wrong, but it makes it all the more important for those diehards to really stick through it and to remind people that what we do can change their lives.
Yeah. And that's why I'm doing this right now,
Mm-hmm.
to put this on this platform, just because you guys need to be sustainable. Right? Like,
yeah.
We need more like bodies and seats, and like, I can talk from my own experience about theater, because I can't articulate it, but it's transformative. So it's the same thing that I got from like a 10-day Vipassana meditation. It's the same thing I got from like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Like, it's these little things that like have always stuck with me. But there's this visceral reaction that you have to theater, and especially your productions. Because I've been to other things and they haven't grabbed me the same way. And I'm like, I walked away, I'm like, how cool are we? Like, the small town of Collingwood, to have this type of level of production, and more people need to know about it. So whomever is watching this, share this video, especially to the Toronto folk, because what I see for you, because I see people's futures, but what I see for you is we make it a Stratford. Collingwood is already a destination that people come up to. We just need to get the message out, get people into seats, and then it will just word of mouth, and we can make a festival out of it, so that people are coming up here for the mountains, the water, and the festival all at the same time.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. And that's the cool thing about, fostering theater in that way, is there really is no lose-lose with that. I mean, people come up to see a show. Well, the show is going to happen in the evening, or it's going to happen in the afternoon. All those people have to spend the rest of their time doing other things. What are they going to do? They're going to be on the mountain. They're going to be eating at those restaurants. They're going to be infusing the rest of this town with their time, their energy, and their money. So it really is a great opportunity, and I'm glad that you said all those things, because that's exactly what I see as well. I just feel like a crazy person when I say it. So yeah.
Just consistent, persistent action, and ask for help. And that's why I'm doing this as well, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go out with your offer. So what's coming up? How can people get involved to support this?
All right. So the next immediate thing that I've got going on is some of my teaching opportunities. So I'm doing a 4-part workshop series with Clearview Community Theatre. It's my second year doing that. Clearview Community Theatre, if you guys aren't aware, is just a really, really special and happy community theater troupe operating out of St. Ontario. They're some of my favorite people that I've met in this area. Period. They're just fantastic. So I'm really excited about that. That starts on January 12th, which is crazy. That's in just over a week. So you can sign up for that at the Clearview Community Theatre website. I also have a 4-part classical theater, classical scene study class, coming up that I'm running through Quarter Century Theater. That's running in February. So it's the 4 Mondays in February. So if people are interested in that, in taking on some Shakespeare and finding out if they've got some chops to take that sort of stuff on, then they can go to the Quarter Century Theater website and look into that. In terms of our productions, we've got a really interesting spring lineup. So I'm actually running 2 shows in rep, but it's in a very unique rep style. So basically, what people are going to see is 2 plays in one night. So the first half is going to be August Strindberg's Miss Julie, and then after intermission, it's going to be Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. So these are both theater staples. They're regarded as kind of the what am I getting at? Two modern classics is what I'm saying. So they're both really, really popular stories that have been told many, many times, but I'm putting my own unique spin on them, as I do, and I'm completely transforming them into a new time and place. I'm adapting the scripts from scratch, and drawing some interesting parallels between the 2 stories that I'm hoping will shed new light on them and breathe some new energy into some older stories. So that's what's happening in May. So if you want to keep up with all of that and take advantage of some amazing early bird specials and get the best seats in the house, subscribe to our website, subscribe to our mailing list. You can do that by going to www.qctheater.ca, and a little window will pop up if you're a first-time user that will say subscribe, and so that's how you do it. And then you'll hear from me, not very often. I'm not super annoying that way, but you'll hear from me when something amazing is coming up.
Yeah, because I love how-to, so that's it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put your link, and then they go on, it will pop up, subscribe, and then if you want to learn like all those different aspects, you'll email out the how-to. Yeah, perfect. So Definitely. Let's do it that way, because that's amazing. And I'm excited about the production, and so it was in May?
Yes, it's going to happen in May. My amazing cast has finally confirmed, so we're just working out dates now. So unfortunately, I can't reveal specific dates as of yet, but those will be coming out very, very shortly, and tickets will be going on sale for that show really shortly as well. So yeah,
amazing. And that's for all, because I have a lot of Toronto friends, so this is your opportunity to make it a weekend, make it a few days, come up, visit me, we'll go to the show together and things like that, and then enjoy like the surrounding areas together. So yeah,
absolutely. May is a beautiful time of year up here. There's plenty to do, and theater is something that you should definitely pencil in for that.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, Rochelle, you're absolutely badass.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for this is why I work with badass business babes, women that are leading with their hearts, because I truly believe that this stuff will transform the world. And
thank you. Yeah. Definitely. No, it's been great talking to you. It's always lovely talking to you. You're such a lovely individual. So thank you so much for your time and for featuring me. And you'll see me on the Badass Business Babes page, giving out offers and letting people know what's going on.
That's what I was thinking, post away in that. And for all the badass business babes, that's for you to hey, I'm amazing, look at me, come join. It's all about presenting opportunities. So keep on going with that. That's amazing.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you soon around town.
Yes, for sure. Yes. Have a lovely rest of your new year. I hope 2019 is sensational for you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'll post all the links, and then people can enjoy their theater.
Yay! Excellent. Yes.
All right. Take care.
All right. See you.
Bye.